These days, Johan and I do the same thing. We go to the summit and then come down. Well, Johan, when you climb to the top of Denali, or by that time President Trump might rename it McKinley, get there and shout, Cinnamon Life will open the casino on August 2nd. Thank you for taking our flag up.
Johan, now that you have the flag with you, I would ask you to come and speak a few words as well.
So this journey started 11 years ago when I started the Seven Summits journey. It wasn't a childhood dream of mine, but it was something that I took on. When I went to base camp in 2010, I saw Mount Everest for the first time. And then, of course, it was a challenge to try and summit this mountain as nobody had done from here. That was the greatest challenge, first of all. But of course, we went through the process, got there. And then, of course, everybody asked me what next. And I knew that I needed to challenge myself. I needed to do something beyond. I needed to take things further and push to the limits, push myself to the limits and push the limits, the boundaries, as it were. And of course, I took on the challenge of climbing the 7 summits. But of course, it didn't come easy. There were challenges that I faced. There were heartaches. There were disappointments. But through that, I was able to push through. First of all, in 2016, having to turn back just 400 meters away from the summit, from Mount Everest. And that was my hardest test. As any human being would do, first thing I did was I said, no, I don't care. I'm going through. And then, of course, as my prophet has taught me, well, he's always taught us that life is the most important thing. What use is there if we have no life in us? So I decided to turn back and come back. And of course, a couple of years later, I was able to go back and summit Mount Everest. But of course, the journey through the 7 summits has given me other challenges as well. In 2019, I went to Mount Aconcagua in Argentina. And once again, due to bad weather on the last day of the summit, after 21 days, I had to turn back. It didn't end there. In 23, I went up Mount Denali. And once again, on the final day, after 18 days of climbing, there was a storm. And stormy weather set in, and I had to turn back once again. So it is not without challenges and heartaches that I have come through this journey. But through it all, I have had the support, I have had the backing of so many. And like Kirby rightly mentioned, every time I stand up there, I realize that this is not me who's standing there alone, that I am taking a nation with me. And that is truly how I feel. So I really thank everybody who has been there with me, who has backed me, and who has been on this journey for the last 11 years with me. Of course, my dear friend Sajida, who was here earlier, whom I always say it would not have been possible if not for her, who's there every step of the way to see me through and take me through things that I'm not capable of. And of course, everybody else who has supported me right through this journey. Somebody just asked me outside a little while ago, was I ready? And I'm sure you're ready. I'm sure excited. Yes, all that's there. And I said, they also asked me whether I was nervous. And I said, yes, I am nervous. Yeah, because very often I hear people telling me that you climbed Mount Everest, so this is nothing. And that's where I think people make the mistake in life, in facing life's challenges. You don't take things lightly. Every mountain has its challenges, or every endeavor we face has its own challenges, however great you are. And we've got to put 100% to overcome it at the end. And I think the resilience and the determination that I have had has pushed me through and brought me to this point today, where I'm ready to take on the final of the 7 summits. I'd like to thank my family for standing with me always and supporting me, however difficult it has been. I know it's been hard for them to see me go on these journeys when there was a chance that I may not come back. And I know what it was like for them every time I leave. But they supported me no matter what. And of course, everybody else, I think this journey would not have been possible if not for our sponsors who have been there, always with me. First of all, of course, not really a sponsor, but my life support, my lifeline, and whom I believe in, my church community, Wow Life, who has always stood by me, no matter what. I remember just before I went on the last summit to Antarctica, we had a huge challenge of sponsors not coming in on time. And the first thing Kirby and Fiona did was step in and say, don't worry, take on the challenge, we will back you. And I thank you for that, for always standing by me and believing in me. So thank you to the whole WOW family for being there. And I know I carry you through this journey, and I know you're there with me every step of the way. Also, AUK, my platinum sponsor, whom I met just once on a mountain here in Sri Lanka, a Dutch entrepreneur who came in here. And by just listening to my story, he had the faith to believe in me and support me. And once again, he supported me this time as well, without even me asking him, on his own. And Lean, thank you, my gold sponsor and my mobility partner. Thank you for being there and supporting me. MasterCard, Link Samahan, who's been with me right throughout most of my journeys. W15 and Hadi Jamaldeen for promptly, without any hesitation, saying that he will come through. And today we met him earlier on. And Sajida reminded me as we walked out of the room, he said, he's the one man who didn't ask anything in return. He just wanted me to come back safe. Those were his words. He said, just come back safe. That's all we want. For you to be back here. And that meant a lot to me. Qatar Airways for being my airline partner. And of course, last but not least, Cinnamon Life, the City of Dreams. When I was making my announcement last time, I think Padmi was the one who was with me there, and this amazing idea came to her. Why not make the announcement from top of the roof? And I was wondering what they were talking about, and then we put it all together and we thought, my gosh, yes, that's amazing. From the city, my city, Colombo, Sri Lanka, from the peak of my city, I made the announcement of climbing the 7 summits, which was just amazing. And I think that video speaks a lot, speaks words. So thank you, Sanjeev and the team from Cinnamon for being there, for supporting me. It means a lot to me. So as I go I take the Sri Lankan flag, and when I stand up there, I always say, this is something that I do just not for myself, but it is to show the world also that we as Sri Lankans are a people of resilience. Given the opportunity, even though we are from this little dot of an island, given the opportunity, we will stand and we will be great and we will overcome and we will conquer every mountain that is put past us. Finally, I'd like to thank the media who has always been there with me. For everyone who's present here, they've always backed me and they've always been there to show everyone what this is all about. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And of course, our partners, our PR partners, grants, thank you, Anuki, and thank you, the team, for always being there and supporting me right throughout this journey. So as I go and take the Sri Lankan flag, I hope you will all be with me on this journey, and maybe on the 28th or 29th of June, I'm hoping that we will see the good news, and you will be waiting to see the good news of the flag being hoisted on the highest mountain and the final mountain of the 7 summits. Thank you once again, and good evening.